The flags go up, and they're off. In the 25 Savills Chase, a field needing no editorial, short run to the first of 17 fences. And they're spaced across the first, which they all jump safely. Fast or slow on the outside of Affordale Fury, attended by Galopin Des Champs, and out wide is Stellar Story in the white cap. Fence number 2 is a ditch. In the air together, Stellar Story, Affordale Fury, Fast or Slow, and Galopin Des Champs. Being followed to fence number 3, Leggy Watson. At the third, as they rise, Affordale Fury and Stellar Story. Being followed by Galopin Des Champs. After Galopin Des Champs was Fast or Slow, Leggy Watson up the inside. Monty Star, Champ Kylie. Wider still is Grange Clear West, and then Jerry Colomb. With at the back of the field, the J.P. McManus owned duo. And Champ Kylie has fallen there. Champ Kylie has come down at that turn. I know the way you're thinking, and I Am Maximus are the last two. At the next of the ditches, Affordale Fury into it first. Slight mistake by Stellar Story. Affordale Fury joined by Galopin Des Champs as they make tracks to the fence before the straight. Then Stellar Story contesting third with Fast or Slow. A break of a few lengths then to Leggy Watson, Grange Clear West, Monty Star. Jerry Colomb now near to the back in company with I Know the Way You're Thinking and I Am Maximus. They turn into the home straight to fence number 7. A little between Affordale Fury, Sam Ewing, Galopin Des Champs, and Paul Townend now sitting back. A length off Affordale Fury, and then Fast or Slow. A big race spare for Ricky Doyle, and then Stellar Story and Danny Gilligan. Over the far side is Leggy Watson and Sean O'Keefe as they jump the fence. That'll be the final fence next time. And it is Affordale Fury, the leader from Fast or Slow, improving on the outside of Stellar Story, followed by Galopin Des Champs and Leggy Watson. Monty Star and Grange Clear West, and then I Know the Way You're Thinking, I Am Maximus, and Jerry Colomb relegated to be the back marker. As the loose Champ Kylie continues unhurt at the back of the field as they go to the fence past the stands. 1 of 2, 10 left to jump. Affordale Fury, Stellar Story, Fast or Slow to leading 3. Now back fourth, Galopin Des Champs. Adores this place, Galopin Des Champs. Then Leggy Watson, Grange Clear West, Monty Star. I Am Maximus, I Know the Way You're Thinking, was sticky there at that fence. And Jerry Colomb is now falling away as they go to the next fence, bring them past the halfway point. Affordale Fury at fence number 9, up and over from Stellar Story and Fast or Slow, who race wide apart, followed by Galopin Des Champs as they turn towards the back straight. 8 more fences left to jump. Jerry Colomb has been pulled up. Affordale Fury makes the bend, leading Fast or Slow in by the rail is Stellar Story, and then Galopin Des Champs, who's followed by stable companion Leggy Watson, then Monty Star, Grange Clear West, I Am Maximus, and I Know the Way You're Thinking is now trailing the field at the completion of a circuit. 8 fences to go, and it's Affordale Fury by a length and a half to Stellar Story, Fast or Slow third. In fourth place is Galopin Des Champs, not moving well. At the back of the field is I Know the Way You're Thinking. Now to the next on the far side. This will be 7 fences from the finish in the Savills Chase. Today's big race, and it is Affordale Fury enjoying a few lengths lead. Going now to this one, Affordale Fury over from Stellar Story and Fast or Slow. And then Galopin Des Champs as they go towards the second last ditch. This is 6 fences from the finish. And it is Affordale Fury up there leading from the outset, followed by Fast or Slow and Stellar Story and Galopin Des Champs running down that fence a fraction. Affordale Fury right across from the stand, 7 furlongs to go. Another 5 fences to jump. Affordale Fury from Stellar Story, Fast or Slow. They're the leading 3. Linking up with the next, followed by Galopin Des Champs, who's fourth. 4 fences left to jump. And it is Affordale Fury leading Stellar Story, Fast or Slow, followed by Galopin Des Champs, and then Monty Star, And I Am Maximus next, and then comes Grangeclere West, Lecky Watson, and then out the way you're thinking, off the back straight. 3 fences to jump. They're heading for the last ditch. Affordale Fury, as of yet to be headed, followed by Faster Slow, joined by Galopin Des Champs. Right up the inside is Stellar Story, and then I Am Maximus, who's creeping into contention. Lecky Watson, Grangeclere West next, and then I Know the Way You're Thinking, and Monty Star. Turning towards the second last, Affordale Fury from Stellar Story. It's a traffic jam now. Faster Slow, Galopin Des Champs goes between them, joined by I Am Maximus, the second last. Affordale Fury from Galopin Des Champs, who's through on the inside. Galopin Des Champs has just taken Affordale Fury. They're homeward bound with 1 more fence left to jump in the Savills Chase, and it's Galopin Des Champs. First in from Affordale Fury, who's not lying down. Lecky Watson on the stand side is I Am Maximus, followed by Grangeclere West. Stellar Story over the far side. Faster Slow is wakened. Affordale Fury is finding I Am Maximus. Wayward on the approach to the last. They're on the run in. Galopin Des Champs is staying on stoutly over on the far side, followed by Grangeclere West. Affordale Fury from Galopin Des Champs, and on the near side is I Am Maximus. Affordale Fury keeps Sam Ewing on cloud 9. Affordale Fury wins the 25 Savills Chase from I Am Maximus and Galopin Des Champs.
Well, where do we begin with all of this? Affordale Fury is the winner of the Savills Chase. He returns at 7-1. He was quite the market springer as well. Much bigger prices. Galopin Des Champs has lost his unbeaten record over fences here at Leopardstown. I saw Ruby when he moved to the front after 2 out. Everything was set fair for him to go on and bring the house down once more here. But Affordale Fury, who gave away so much ground jumping out to the right on the way round, has managed to come back and chin him. What do you make of that?
He has, yeah. Galopin pinged the second last and land through, and he's inside. You can see from the ditch, Paul was keen to get through on Sam's inner, but off the bend there, things start to get tough, and Affordale Fury gets back the upper hand. I Am Maximus had jumped into contention, going to the second last fence on the outside. Paul stays in, Derek comes out. I think Affordale Fury jumps considerably across in front of I Am Maximus here at the last, or when they land anyway, they seem to get hung up on each other a bit. Yeah,
no doubt he put him off.
Yeah, he definitely put him off. I Am Maximus jinks in behind and lucky not to come up the wood chip then, but I thought here for a second Galopin was starting to battle back, but Affordale Fury has rallied. Grangeclere West has run a clacker, so too is Faster Slow. Monty Star is staying on, Lecky Watson, but Affordale Fury just grinds it out to the line. I Am Maximus has run a blinder. Galopin third, Grangeclere West fourth. Really good race to watch, Gary.
Absolutely. Noel Meade back in the big time, of course, concentrating more on the flat these days, more and more as Noel, but he's got a hell of a good jumper on his hands here in Affordale Fury. So lightly raced, he's had his problems. Here's the champ Kylie, exit early on.
Yeah, and the green colours left the shot. I didn't see what happened live here because I really wasn't looking at it. We weren't expecting anything to happen and they're galloping along on the flat, but does he clip the heel at the one in front? Didn't seem to catch it there. Maybe he does he? Yes.
Yeah.
Catches the hind leg of Faster Slow, and that just flips him over, which was unlucky for him.
Hopefully Harry Cobden okay. The horse seemed to be fine galloping. What about I Know the Way You're Thinking? I mean, we were talking about him drifting beforehand. He was probably any price you like after jumping 2 fences. He's running snatches. Mark Walsh kind of accepted his fate really down the home straight. Are there any positives to take from that for you?
No. I didn't see too many anyway, Gary. I thought maybe when they jumped the first fence down the back, Mark gave him a squeeze and a push and he half came alive, but no. But look, he drifted like a barge in the betting and he ran the way that reflected. He's been the one that's been bitterly disappointed. I Am Maximus has run an absolute blinder, but look, it's Affordale Fury's day. Sam Ewing, spare ride for him. You got a feel for Dunamyler, who picked up a suspension in Navan for careless riding. He appealed that, appealed the severity of it. He didn't get off it. Danny Gilligan appealed the severity of a running and riding case and got it reduced to 0 from God knows how many days. If someone could explain that one, please send the answers on a postcard, because I'd be most interested.
And what about Galopin Des Champs, Ruby? Has the lack of a run ultimately found him out, do you think?
It looked that way across from the second last. You're thinking, yeah, he's going to win, and you meet the rising ground then off the home turn. He seemed to flatten out. He came again at the last, but that was more Affordale Fury jumping across in front of I Am
Did you like
Maximus.
what you were seeing during the race from Galopin?
Just about. He looked like he didn't want to be going any faster, did he? But it was a good race to watch, and look, it's a good starting point.
Here's the
for
last
Galopin.
again, just watch.
Yeah, and I just thought there when Galopin pinged it, he was getting back to them, and look, the drone looks like he almost gets level, does he? But ultimately he fades then again. It's a brilliant race course. It's that stiff, Gary, and Affordale Fury has gone every step of the way to the line.
And Sam Ewing came down the outside when he rode those couple of big winners yesterday. He's done the same again here, and it's proved the place to be. Well, probably didn't have much choice the way this horse was jumping right. The only thing, he was giving away ground himself, but he actually hampered the likes of Fast or Slow a few times when he was doing it, not to mention obviously I Am Maximus later.
At the last, yeah, he did, because Sam was going back to the middle of the fence, and then he was jumping out across the fence to his right after that. But he was a horse that promised a lot as a novice hurdler. Missed a bit of time. His running down Royal was decent, where he looked like he over-raced early in the contest and needed the run. But look, this is a huge step forward from him, and he has down some big scalps, Gary.
That is for sure. Is this winner a proper Gold Cup horse now? We've got to take him ever so seriously after this, surely.
Of course you do. I mean, it's I Am Maximus, Galopin Des Champs, Grange Clare West. Look, with a belt in King George, and we've had a great Savills.
And it's been won by Affordale Fury.
What a Christmas period it's been for Sam Ewing. Noel Meade with the first Grade 1 winner since Beacon Edge in the 2021 Drinmore. Affordale Fury 7-1 has spoiled the Galopin Des Champs party, but himself has put himself firmly in contention for a Gold Cup now in the colours of PL Polly. I Am Maximus, what a run back in second at 50-1. The Galopin Des Champs 6-5 favourite back in third.
Well, here is the man in the moment, Sam Ewing. Sam, just tell us how you're feeling after winning the Savills Chase. Yesterday was Sunday. Have you just topped it there on Affordale Fury?
Yeah, absolutely surreal, really. My heart goes out to Donna Myler. He's his ride, and unfortunately for Donna, he's suspended, and it's really been a week of fortunes for me. So
talk about being in the right place at the right time the last couple of days.
Yeah, and look, Joseph and Noel and Gordon, you know, great support off them all week. So it's over the moon, really.
You do know this horse, Sam. Obviously, you went very close to winning on him at the Cheltenham Festival, previously over hurdles. Talk us through the race today. What was the feeling in the camp beforehand? A lot of people fancied him to run well, I think.
Yeah, look, he's. I actually rode him last week. He was in great form. It wasn't the initial plan to make the running, but I jumped the first so well, and he took me there. And he was travelling, jumping fence to fence, and when Paul came to me, I gave him a slap down the neck, and he was right back on it. And he was very tough. It was a good race.
He did go to his right at a lot of fences. Were you kind of worried that might ultimately cost you?
He was going a little bit right, but I don't think I was losing much length. And he was still in my hands the whole way around, still always taking me down to the next. So it wasn't too concerning, because I always felt I had plenty of horse.
And just as you did yesterday, you've used that kind of wide pass from the final fence to your advantage. Maybe not much choice with him today, the way he was jumping out to the right, but do you think that was a help ultimately?
I do. Look, it seems to be the way a lot of these big chases are won around here. You know, you see it working for a lot of good ones. So I figured I may join the trend.
And how pleased are you for Noel and the Pollies? Noel obviously is better known almost for being a flat trainer these days, but he's always known how to deal with a good jumper too.
He's Affordale Fury is one of Noel's many great jumpers he's had, and it's a pleasure to be riding nice horses like him for Noel, and for the Pollies, over the moon. You know, I'm lucky enough to be sponsored by them as well, and I'm sure they won't miss tonight with a party, anyways.
I'd say that's for sure. And Sam, where's the ceiling with this horse? He's very lightly raced for his age. He's had a few problems along the way. Now that Noel's getting a clear run with him, can he go on and continue to be a force in these big chases?
I don't see why not. The way he's done that today. Look, he probably had fitness and some of the others that could have went to his advantage today, but the way he's done it, he's improving run to run, and I don't see why he couldn't be a Gold Cup horse.
It's been a fantastic couple of days. What have you got tomorrow? I haven't even got that far ahead myself.
I have a full book tomorrow. I suppose Zainab, she's only ran once, but hopefully she can go well in the Grade 2 mare. She only ran once, but I think she could be one of my better rides tomorrow.
Whatever happens tomorrow, I tell you, this has been some week for you, Sam. Well done, cheers.
Unbelievable. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Well, a really special day for the man alongside me, Noel Meade, who's back in the Grade 1 big time over at jumps with Affordale Fury, win the Savills Chase. Noel, we're more accustomed to you sending out big winners on the flat these days, but you've always known how to train a good jumper. Just how special a moment is this for you?
Very, very special, Gary. You know, I've had a great relationship with his owner, Philip, who just arrived by accident. He rang me up one day after Pinkerton won a maiden hurdle, and he said, "Is that horse for sale?" Or I had said it on to you or somebody in Thurles. He rang up and he said, what do you want from him? And I said, he said, I'll take him. And I said, fair enough. So since then, this is the next horse we bought after that. And he's been lucky as him, and he's had a nice horse the other day. So things have went well, and he's a very special guy too, because he brings everybody when he comes racing. He brings all the staff. He brings everybody.
You love that too.
Yeah. Look, it's great to see it. It's great to see it.
Take us back to the early days with this horse. When did you realise you had something pretty tasty on your hands?
Well, he always showed plenty. You see, he hasn't really raced that often, when he was second in Sam rode him when he was second in the Albert Bartlett, and then he came back and he won a beginner's chase and ran and punched, and then got injured, missed the rest of his novice season, came back after that, and he was going to win in Fairyhouse in January when we got him ready, I think, and he fell at the last, if you remember. I can't remember what the race was. So then I was kind of keeping him for the Irish National, and something happened again and we didn't get to the Irish National. Then they changed the rules and he had to have another run. He'd only 3 runs over fences. So I ran him in Gorn, and I suppose if you'd like to put it one way, he ran too well, because he got himself put up £5 for the run. So we sort of thought then, he's kind of at the top of the weights now, maybe we'll have a rattle at the race in the north.
He ran a blinder there.
He ran well. He didn't actually jump that well in the north, and I said to Philip after, if the last 3 fences were out in most of the chases in the north, other than that one, I said if the last 3 fences were out, he might have won, because he lost ground. So anyway, then we were lucky enough to send him down to Thurles, and he won a listed race. But he didn't handle Thurles that well, but he did win, so that was great. So after that, it was all systems come here. And before the race, Philip said, what do you think? And I said, well, all I can tell you, Philip, is whatever he is today, because he's in super form. He couldn't be better. He worked a million on last Tuesday morning, over 1.25 miles. I was thrilled with him. And Sam schooled him on Thursday, I think it was, and he jumped 3 fences, and he said he'd never jumped as well as that. So I said, we won't jump anymore. Jump 4 fences. I don't think we won't jump anymore. So I said, geez, a pity the race is not tomorrow, because anyway, that's the way it goes.
And just tell us your thoughts watching the race. Now, he did jump out to his right at times, but in the main, were you happy with what you were seeing?
I was happy. Look, I nearly want to see it again. I was up in the stand watching it. I didn't realise he went I knew he went to the right a bit. I didn't think he went that much to the right, but obviously he did. I think one of the critical points about before the race was, I said to Sam when I was getting the saddle off him, I said, what way do you want to ride him? And he said I was going to sort of ride him 5th to 6th and take it from there, get him in a rhythm, keep him a little bit wide. He said plenty of room, and let him find his own way into it. And when I went to saddle him, I met Donagh, and Donagh said, I said what Sam was thinking, and Donagh said, yeah, he said, but suppose he's slow at the first. And then he says he's behind, he's a couple of lengths further back than he wants to be. He said, would he not be better to jump out, go for the first, and let him find his rhythm from there? So we put this to Sam anyway, and we had a little discussion in the parade ring beforehand, the 3 of us, and Sam says, yeah, okay, I go with that. So he jumped out, and he said, he sent him down to the first, and then he said he just caught a hold, but he settled in front. He didn't say much to me about he jumping to the right or how big a problem that was, so I'll have to look at it again, and we'll have to rethink that maybe.
And you mentioned Donagh Miley there. It's obviously really tough for him to miss a win like that through suspension, which he was sitting out today, but I presume he's going to be pretty excited to get back on him, is he?
Absolutely. It's a killer. And to be honest, I looked at it a few times. He was very hard done by. It happened in Navan over the 3rd last, and or coming down the hill, and there's a bit of bumping and barging. But to be honest, to miss 7 days, it's a cruel, or 8 days, it's a cruel penalty on these lads who their career is short enough, and to miss horses like that. And as you know, things don't always come back together again the way you think they might. So it's a terrible thing that stewards are allowed to. I don't know what way to describe it, but I think the penalty didn't fit the crime, if you know what I mean. Like, to miss 7 days in Thurles is one thing, but to miss 7 days, and 2 of them are Leopardstown, and 2 of them one of them is Nace, a grade 1 day, another day, that's pretty hard.
back to the horse, I presume the Cheltenham Gold Cup will be his objective. Will we see him back here in between then, maybe?
Look, my initial reaction is yes. Thinking back on a horse I had a few years ago called Go Native, he won a
Dream Novices fighting fifth, did he win?
Yeah, and he was on 4 or 5 in a row, and he won the Christmas hurdle at Kempton, and then I decided not to run him in the Irish Champion, and he went to Cheltenham, and I think the lack of a run beat him in Cheltenham. Now he got injured, but I think the lack of a run did beat him. I think that so I think if he's okay and he's trains, I will give him an easy couple of weeks and then train him for that.
And I mentioned at the top there, we're kind of used to seeing you more and more in the winners of closure with the flat horses these days, but you love your jump racing. You've trained so many good jumpers down the years. These days we see Willie Mullins and your great friend Gordon Elliott, who's been dominating here this week centre stage. Did you always feel you get back to the top table here one day?
Look, I don't push myself too hard anymore. I don't run after people anymore. You know those fellas that tell you they're going to buy a horse and you run after them until they do or whatever. And I said, a fella wants to send me a horse, I'm happy enough to train him. But I'm not running after people trying to sell them horses. You get to a stage in your life that it's just, the hassle of it is just too much. And I enjoy what I do. I have about 15 jumpers, maybe 16 or 17. But I stopped really buying them as such, other than like I used to buy them 15 or 20 stores every year on my own and sort them out. But I don't do that anymore. I buy for people or whatever, and I train. Basically, to be honest with you, I train for people I like, and if I don't particularly
not
like
a bad policy.
I don't particularly like them. I don't like any hassle. And to be honest with you, I train them the way I want to train them. And if they don't like it, that's bad enough. You know, we go away somewhere. That's basically what I do. And with the flat ones, I found them a lot easier to buy, and we trade a lot of them. We sell a lot of the 2-year-olds. It's like when they win or they run well or whatever, they go. Like I don't spend an awful lot of money on them now. They're all bought reasonable money, and we try to make them worth as much as we can. And we've been lucky over the last couple of years that we have got horses off to Hong Kong and America. The flat is a commercial sort of job because it's worldwide, whereas jumpers, like you take the winners here this week, the bumper horses that are Willie and Gordon, and fair play to them, I have no problem with them at all now. Yeah, they're all my friends and I have no problem with them. But like they're talking about 300 and 400 and 500 and 600 and like it just rolls off their tongue like what they cost, you know. Like, I mean, if they're second in the point, they're worth $500,000, you know. If they win one by 10 lengths, they're worth 700, you know. That's the way they're talking anymore. So unless you have someone that's going to do that, it's very hard to compete.
Well, no, I'll tell you what, today was your day back in the Grade 1 big time with Affordale Fury. Potential is there for a few more yet. Well done. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Gary. Thanks a lot.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.